Hello, all, and welcome to Where's My Sage? A Taste of the Universe. I'm Mike, and this evening, Kristie will not be joining us. Fortunately, had a death in the family, but we have some really great guests coming on. And as folks are coming on and getting set, we'll kind of get the show started. But a couple of quick housekeeping things coming up. We've got some great shows coming up over the next couple of weeks and some really cool guests. We'll be posting in our groups and on our pages the list of our guests coming up. But for those of you just tuning in, we have some really good giveaway contests right now, subscriber giveaway over on our Instagram and our YouTube channel. We're trying to get our numbers up a little bit. It allows us to do some other things. Also, with being a subscriber over there on YouTube, you'll know when we have upcoming events if we just pop on quick. So for folks that are over there subscribing to both our Instagram and our YouTube, it helps get you into a drawing for when we hit 500 subscribers, a Bigfoot research kit. For 750 subscribers, once we hit there, we're going to be doing a paranormal research kit. And it's got backpacks and flashlights and stands for action cameras and some multi-tools. And then when we hit 1,000 subscribers, we're also going to be giving away a X8 Tactical Morgan fixed blade survival knife. Great for out in the woods. It's a great utility bushcraft knife. So as folks are coming in, hello, Michelle, and hello, Paul. So we're going to kind of get things going because my partner's not here to kind of give me a hand tonight. So we're going to be bringing on Jimmy and Dee Trick from Goosebumps Paranormal. They've been on multiple TV shows, radio, authors of some really great books. And I'm going to discuss some of those great programs that they have coming up. And they're part of a couple of groups that I'm actually part of as well. So, with further ado, I'm going to bring on Jimmy and Dee Trick. Good evening, guys. How are you this evening?
How are you, Mike?
Good evening. Thanks for having us.
Hey, everybody.
So, you can hear me okay on your side, correct?
Roger that.
We got you.
Okay.
Roger that.
Copy that.
Copy that.
All right.
10-4.
So, just a quick hello, Penny. Hello, Maxine. And hello, Marilyn. So, you guys are the founders of Goosebumps Paranormal.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about Goosebumps and how you got started in the paranormal field?
No, we'd rather not.
Okay,
no.
That's fine.
I'm originally from Michigan. I grew up and was raised around Detroit area and moved to Pittsburgh in 2010. But when I was in Michigan in 2005, I teamed up with somebody. We started a paranormal group back then. It wasn't Goosebumps. It was a different group. And after a couple of years, the group disbanded because she wanted to go on something else. So I continued with the group. And when it came to Pittsburgh, I met Dee here, and then we started dating, and I told her about my paranormal interests in that, and she was interested. And so we together formed Goosebumps Paranormal Society.
And she didn't run away when you said, I'm chasing ghosts.
No, not right away.
No, it's funny because that was not the lead in on one of the first couple of dates, but he did segue that shortly thereafter. And no, I was very interested, but I never had anybody to do, well, a lot of things with until I met him. He showed me a lot of new things. And this was one of the things to become a paranormal investigator and ride motorcycles and jump out of airplanes and things like that.
Yeah,
so,
we like to have fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. A couple quicks. We got hello from Jay.
Hey, Jay.
Jay Bird.
And
What's up,
hello
22, brother?
from Edward. Yeah, he's got that in there.
How are you?
So, so we got quite a few. So
Carolyn too. We see you, Carolyn,
yes.
down in
Yep,
Florida.
I thought I clicked it. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes watching and trying to grab everybody. Chantel's family says they're from Monroe, Michigan. Yep. So
He's Farmington Hills originally.
Ray, we're not doing any readings tonight. Just sometimes we have reading show.
Well,
So
we could try. I mean,
we could read the book. We could read excerpts from our book.
Yeah. What
would you like to hear about?
So what got you involved there, Jimmy, in the paranormal?
I have to go back to when my parents passed away. My dad died in 1997, and my mom passed away in 2000. And when each one of them passed away, I had some strange things happen to me at my house, to me, that I could only relate to something that either my dad would do or my mom would do, because they were pranksters and they like to pull jokes on me. And things happened after they passed away that made me think, well, hey, maybe they're still around, and maybe we don't really understand a lot of this afterlife and spirit world. So that got me interested. And at the same time, these ghost hunter shows were starting to come on TV. So I started watching those, and they got me hooked. And I just thought it was very fascinating, very interesting.
Okay. And Dee, what got you started in the paranormal realm?
Well, I always had an interest in it, but then obviously whenever I met him, that really ramped things up, and started watching the shows with him. And then we started going out on investigations, and very intriguing and very exciting. And I have to say, knock wood.
There you go.
So far, everything has been not fearful. We haven't been afraid. It's just very, like I said, intriguing. You want more. There, you get just a little bit, and then you want to keep going to see what else can you find.
Yeah, like Dee says, we've been very fortunate through all of our investigations. We never run into things that really kind of just scared us out of our mind. Like, oh man, this is bad news. We found that what we've run into is very interesting. It's very intriguing. We find it fascinating, and I think we're very lucky so far to encounter what we've encountered.
Now, you do most of your research in Pennsylvania now, correct? Or between Michigan and Pennsylvania?
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was Michigan for quite a while there, and I still have a group in Michigan that I keep in contact with, but we don't do a lot of investigations with them right now because everybody's kind of branching off and doing their own thing. But we re-ramped it up here in Pennsylvania, and we are in southwestern Pennsylvania, but we'll travel around the state. We'll travel into Ohio and West Virginia, and just keep it local. But yeah.
You have multiple members on your team, or just yourselves, or?
We're the two mains, and then we have several others who are members of our group too. Eric Altman is one of them, and we have
Eric.
Yes, we had David Drageson before he passed away, and his lovely wife Cindy, and
such a great guy.
Oh my God, yeah.
We miss him.
I was
terribly.
lucky enough; he was my cousin and like a brother to me. And we got into the paranormal, and he's the reason that we got to branch out into Bigfoot, and how we got on to Finding Bigfoot.
Yeah, we never did anything with Bigfoot stuff, and he just called us one day and said, "Hey, you want to tag along?" We said, "Why not? We never done it before." So he got us interested in that realm too.
We've met so many wonderful people, and I keep saying that he was the hub and everybody else are the spikes, because there were so many people that we've met that we wouldn't be here right now without him. So we can't thank him enough, and we know where he is, and
we miss him every day.
Oh yeah. And he was a sound guy. This is his microphone and stand that we're using. God bless.
Nice.
So, so he's with us. Even though he's not with us, he's with us.
He's always with us.
Yeah.
And he'll always be a member on our member page, no matter what. So,
yeah.
And I know he was a big part of our Pennsylvania group for Bigfoot as well. And
yes.
It's a big loss for all of us.
Yeah.
Jay's in here too, dropping that out there.
Yeah. You can't find anybody to say a bad word about him.
So we start with the paranormal, and then we end up switching over to Bigfoot.
We expand.
Or you expand.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're still mainly paranormal.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we don't turn down anything Bigfoot.
No.
We're interested.
Yes. And we are of the mind that perhaps they are connected.
Okay.
First, we thought they were two different things, but at this point, we're thinking they just might be connected.
Hey, partner. So hello
Hey,
from
Kristie.
Kristie.
Hi, Kristie.
She asked you to keep me on. Like, for those not listening or just tuning in, unfortunately, Kristie's not with us tonight. She had some family situations. So she will be picking on me from afar and helping us out. And, we'll be back next week with her to really pick on me for you guys that are regular viewers.
We were hoping Kristie would be here tonight because we wanted to harass her, but
yes.
Yeah.
But
next time.
Yeah.
Next time, yeah.
We miss you, Kristie.
So the Bigfoot, what decided to, you say you're part of that whole realm of the spiritual connection. What brought you to say, I'm going to go look for Bigfoot? Was it one of those, hey, the guy said, hey, we're going to go out there and take a look. And Paul here definitely agrees with there's a connection between both worlds. I know Kristie definitely believes there's a connection for both. I'm still the old, the flesh and blood kind of guy, but I know there's a couple of folks in our, including Jay, that are on the dimensional kind of things.
Well, and that's the beauty of it. Anybody can believe whatever they want about it. Nobody's right. Nobody's wrong. It's whatever you want to believe because nothing's been proven yet.
Right. So where'd you go for your first investigation on that?
Well, David brought us, he gave us a phone call and said, hey, we're heading down to almost the West Virginia border to Frank and Kay's house. They're having some Bigfoot activities, suspicious. They suspect it's Bigfoot. So do you want to tag along? So yeah, sure. I mean, it's outdoors and he took us to a 69-acre farm, family-owned home that was built in 1840.
I believe it was 1840.
And the current family that lives there, her parents bought it in 1959. She lived there while she was growing up, moved away for a little bit, and then ended up moving back in there. And she had lots of stories of things going on inside and outside of the home. I'm kind of jumping ahead a little. Sorry. But we met them, lovely people, Frank and Kay, and they had Bigfoot activity. So we just watched and learned and tried to soak up what we could to see what people are doing, how they're handling things.
It's funny because when we went down there with David, and we met for the first time. Eric Altman was there, and Stan Gordon was there.
Yeah.
Now these two guys were nobody to us. We didn't know who they were, but little did we know that these guys are superstars in their field. And we later found out that now Goosebumps Paranormal is associated with these guys too, and they've been fantastic. They're two great guys that we've spent a lot of time with, and they're fantastic people.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Well, I was going to say, so they were, we're just watching wide-eyed, observing, as I said, like a sponge, soaking things up. And we hear them say that they have things going on in the house. Well, then the antenna go up. What kind of stuff? Well, in the kitchen, we have the kitchen doors for the cabinets open and close. Oh, really? And some other things. And so, here's our card. By the way, we're paranormal investigators, and they said, geez, we got enough on our plate with Bigfoot. We're not sure we were ready for
we
this
said we'd
yet.
love to do an investigation up you out, and they just kind of looked and go, no.
Yeah.
We believe in Bigfoot, but nah, with the ghosts. I
Yeah,
know that
they
feeling
were
myself.
They were afraid that if we did come and do an investigation, that we would stir things up more and make their life more miserable than it already was.
Yeah.
So they were not ready for us to step inside.
So we respected that and said, here's our card, here's our phone number. Give us a call whenever you're ready. And it wasn't too much after that they gave us a call.
They gave us a call.
Yes. And that started we've had a friendship with them, and we've been there many, many times.
Oh, for years we keep going back. And every time we go back there, we usually have like a little potluck meal going on with everybody. And we have a good time visiting, and we'll do a little investigation, whether it be Bigfooting out on their farm or be investigating their barn that's haunted or their house that's haunted. Yeah. We always have a great time.
Yeah. But again, this is something I say all the time. And when David was alive, I used to tell him all the time, you know what, David, this is your fault. This is your fault, David, that we've met so many people, but they're just aces. I mean,
Yeah, they're great friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, as we are into the spooky season,
Yeah.
you have a very new book out. Let me pull that other screen up here. Add to the stream. The Weird, the Spooky, and Bizarre, Investigations into the Unknown.
Yes.
And this is your new book, and I just downloaded it myself this week. In between everything else that's been going on. So I started to get into it, and some of the chapters and stuff are places I like to go.
Yes.
So why don't you tell us about this great project you guys have going on? And I'm going to drop a link into, because the book is available through Amazon and through your website, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to drop that link right in there. So again, we're going to talk about the Weird, Spooky, Bizarre investigating the unknown. And as you guys know that are regulars, I mumble. That's why I have Kristie to beat me up and kind of keep me on the grammatical thing tonight. I tried sending it. For those folks that got messages from me on Facebook tonight about a UFO movie, that is me. Autocorrect changed words that I have no idea, from film to filled, whatever. And I'm like, boy, if this doesn't look like a spam thing, but that's a whole nother night and a whole nother guest, the phenomenon. If you guys are UFO folks, not to plug David's movie, but man, you want to talk about scary, especially you guys are down there in that Chestnut Ridge area. It's all government stuff. So let's talk about your book. So,
one of the chapters is the old farm, and whenever you said that we're a haven, the Western Pennsylvania, that was what Stan Gordon said about Frank and Kay's house, that they have anomalies going on out in their fields too with lights. And he said, you guys have Bigfoot going on, you have paranormal going on, and you have UFO going on. You have the perfect storm here.
Yeah. Weird, Spooky, Bizarre is a book that we wrote. It's our actual cases from Goosebumps Paranormal Society. These are probably our best cases to date right now. I think there's, we highlighted, I think it was maybe 8 different cases in there, a number of Gettysburg cases, but there's some really good cases there. And the way we wrote it is that we make you feel like you're a virtual member, like to bring you along. We've got great detail, the way you explain everything. So when you read it, you experience everything the way it happened. Just you'll feel it just the way we felt it as it happened. You'll see the kind of equipment that we used. You'll determine how to come up with a reason for the investigation.
We try and go into detail and paint a picture with words.
Yeah.
So that you can see when we say about the bed and breakfast that we stayed in that was haunted, we kind of give you the lay of the land of what the lobby looks like, the exterior, our room, the furnishings.
We go through towards the end of each chapter, we go through the evidence review and explain what everything is. And we pretty much leave it up to you as the reader to come up with your own opinion. We're not telling you this is the way it is. You can believe what you want to believe. We're not going to try to convince you that we're right and you're wrong. Just you want to believe something and something that we don't believe, we don't care. It's your choice. That's fine.
Kind of an ad lib for ghost hunting?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
So what locations, not to give the whole book away, because I definitely want everybody to get in there and read it and, support the family.
Thanks.
Wow, that was, Wendy, that was really weird. Literally, as I said family, that popped up. Let's see. She actually had a question.
Yes.
Did you say you're marking experience at Gettysburg that are Civil War I have that are Civil War reenactors. Spent a lot of time down there. Must have friends that are Civil War reenactors. Wendy, if you can drop me a message here again to clarify that. What with Gettysburg really brought? Oh, brother and sister. Okay.
She is family. Oh, okay.
Yeah. What brought you to? And usually, she's a friend of mine from growing up. I can usually sense what she's trying to do.
Yeah.
It's the water we drank in the neighborhood. It just, So what brought you, Gettysburg, I know is a very paranormal area. What what brings you to Gettysburg, and what have you found in Gettysburg that really jumped out at you? And I know there's a couple locations, and not to give away the book, but what really gets you back into there every year? I mean, we were just supposed to go down for that big event down there.
Yeah.
And COVID kept us away. And
Yeah. Oh, we wanted to go back too. Same thing. We both love history. There's just no, and that place, Western Pennsylvania and Central Pennsylvania. I mean, there's so much history. And
I've always liked history.
Yeah.
I've always liked Civil War history. The first time that I went to Gettysburg was with my parents and my sister. We went on a vacation and we drove through Gettysburg while we were heading out towards east. And I think I was 14 years old at the time. And I was just amazed going through the battlefields and going on the tours. And it got me hooked the first time I was there. And we've been back there since. We've been back there 10 times doing investigations. And every time we go there, we get different things that happen, different evidence. And it's just some pretty strange things going on there from leftover energies. Oh, hi, my sister Carolyn. Hi, Steph.
So, buy the book. It's great. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that she's prejudiced or anything, but I have to say.
No.
Thanks, Wendy. Thank you, Wendy.
Oh, thanks, Wendy. Appreciate it. Yeah. We know you'll enjoy it.
Yeah. It's very conversational. As I said, we try and paint a picture with words.
My first time was at 14 going through Gettysburg, and we went from there to DC, and it's anytime I'm in that area of Pennsylvania, I'm like, whoop, got to swing through.
Yeah.
See what's going on. I mean, you guys all see Vita. I picked her up from the next town over. So it was like, okay, stop for lunch, tour around Gettysburg, and then go pick up the puppy when we got her. So she's probably possessed, and this probably explains a few things for Vita.
No, it's so beautiful, and it's so humbling, and it's so interesting. And every time you go, you learn something new and you see something new.
Mm-hmm.
And
we highlight a number of places in Gettysburg in the new book. We've been to Spangler Spring and to Cemetery Ridge, Cemetery Hill, the Cashtown Inn. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Cashtown Inn. But,
it's a bed and breakfast.
It's a bed and breakfast that's 8 miles west of downtown Gettysburg. It's on the Chambersburg Pike.
As we say in Pittsburgh, downtown.
Downtown. That's what you say in Pittsburgh.
Downtown.
In Detroit, we say it's downtown.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
By the way, he talks funny. Did you notice his accent?
Oh, what? No, I can't say nothing about funny, man. I'm funny all the time.
Don't say anything about his accent. Oh. Can you hear me, honey?
Yeah.
Is this hearing aid on?
Is this thing on?
Hello?
Yeah. No, the Cashtown Inn was used as the Confederate headquarters by one of the generals, A.P. Hill, and also was used as a hospital for the wounded. They did a lot of surgeries in the basement of this Cashtown Inn, mostly amputations because the injuries were so bad. And there's reports in history that says that there were so many amputations that the doctors and surgeons were tossing the limbs of the patients out the window just to make room, and the pile of limbs got so high that it blocked the light from coming into the basement. It just was one after another, after another, after another.
Yeah.
But we stayed in the room that A.P. Hill stayed in, room number 3 at the Cashtown Inn. That was the room that he made his headquarters, and we had some pretty interesting things happen there. Pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jim's a Civil War buff, and so he has a Major General or General?
Major General.
I never remember. Major General.
It's a Union Major General's uniform.
Yes.
Head to toe.
Okay.
All the fixings.
Yes.
In fact, I used to go to Gettysburg dressed up and walk the streets as a Union General, and it was comical because everybody would stop with their family. They go, can we get your picture and can my kids get a picture with you? And you felt like a celebrity, And then of course I got Dee involved in that too, and bought her a nice Southern Belle dress. And
yes, I walked around and I talked with my Southern accent. Oh, General.
And
I just had a flashback to one of Jimmy's Instagram videos. If you guys want a good laugh, go over to Jimmy Trick's Instagram or Goosebumps Paranormal Instagram. There's some great video editing on some things that are just.
Yeah, I try to post one or two every day. And the reason I do that is because the way the world is today, there's so much crap
Strife.
going on. I want to see people laugh again, and that's why I do it. So I just think people need to get into the mode of laughing again, and that's why I post these videos.
Yeah.
So
stories are really great. That's from Edward.
Thanks, Edward.
And you've got some projects coming up with Edward right now, don't you? Can we say anything or not say anything?
Yeah.
Yep. So let's finish up with the book. So you've got Gettysburg, you've got Bigfoot. So you got to go out and play with the crew from Finding Bigfoot, and
we did.
They were looking for
got rained out like everybody does when you go bigfooting. It never stays dry, especially on a good night.
Storm, thunder, and lightning.
It was one of the worst thunderstorms.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night that we've seen in a long time, and it was perfect for filming paranormal stuff. It was great.
Yeah, and
lightning flashing, thunder clapping. It was fantastic.
It gives you a glimpse. That's the other thing is we give you kind of a behind the scenes look at what it's like to be on a reality TV show and how I was expecting the makeup trailer and
it wasn't quite like that.
No, we filmed in a national historic park, and so the dressing room was a pit,
the back of a box truck. That's what it was.
Well, and the my dressing room.
Oh, your dressing room was the pit toilet.
Yeah, the pit toilet. Yeah. Oh, it was fancy, and boy, did it smell good. Oh, yeah. So
that smell doesn't come across on the show, though.
No, or in the book.
But I think you got to spice that up a little bit. You got to do some work with. I was going to bring it in a little later, but got to dress up pretty good for Josh Gage's stuff, didn't you?
Oh, that
was fun.
So once again, because of David, we got into Finding Bigfoot, and then we met two of the producers that Jim got to pal around with while they were here looking for sites. He and David were busy.
Yeah, we drove
looking for locations.
Sean Mantooth and Ryan Golombeski were the producers for this Finding Bigfoot episode, and David had all the information about the Bigfoot sightings and reports in the Chestnut Ridge area. I think there was 22 sightings from 2007 to 2009 or something like that.
Yeah.
So he offered to show them around to where these sites were because they were looking for filming places.
Yeah, locations.
So the four of us drove around all day long through the Chestnut Ridge back roads. I mean, 2-track trails all over the place. We had so much fun with these guys. It was great. And just in the couple of days that we were with them, we really built a really good friendship with these two guys.
So sweet.
With Sean and Ryan.
Nice.
And we still keep in contact with them because this was we filmed in August of 2014 and it aired in January of 2015. And we're still in contact with them. And it's just been great. They're great guys.
So Sean Mantooth is the producer for a lot of shows on the Travel Channel, Discovery History, and one of the shows is Josh Gates's show, Expedition Unknown. And he texted Jimmy, "Hey Jimmy, I'm going to be in Pittsburgh. Do you guys want to hook up and have dinner?" And so we had dinner, and he's telling us about the project that they were filming at the Washington County. I'm doing my Pittsburgh accent. I am Washington County airport with a 1944 B-50 B-40 B-52. Anyway,
it was a DC-4.
Oh, there you go.
DC-4.
Thank you. Okay. Anyway, and he's telling us that they're going to need reenactors for that. And do you guys know anybody?
The episode was about a Northwest Flight 2501 then in 1950 that was flying from, I think it was from LaGuardia over to
Washington State, Seattle.
Yeah, and it was
with the stopover supposed to be in Minnesota.
Yeah, and when it got over Lake Michigan, when it just passed Michigan, it got over Lake Michigan. It ran into bad weather, and it just disappeared. And they never found the plane, and never found survivors. It just disappeared, and that was the big mystery. That's what this show was all about.
Tiny remnants of a little bit of a suitcase and a baby doll.
Yeah, but they never found any plane parts at all, which was weird.
Yeah. So we had to. That happened in 1950.
50.
And so we had to dress in appropriate attire. They provided wardrobe for us, and somebody had to shave.
Well, I had to shave completely. I mean, I think I had a goatee and a mustache.
Yeah.
But I had to shave Sean says, you're going to have to shave your mustache because you got to look like it's 1950.
And
they didn't really have that many mustaches back then.
He said back in those days, if you had money, you didn't have facial hair.
And I said,
you were clean cut looking.
I said, Sean, for you, I'll do it. And it's the first time that my mustache came off in 38 years. And it felt really weird.
Yeah.
And it looked really weird.
Oh, he looked cute. I thought he looked cute.
Well, the day after the filming, I started growing it back. So the heck with it.
But this is the last time anyone will see this after tonight. It's gone.
Oh, really?
You okay, go back to work. It's coming off.
Oh, it's a COVID beard. Okay. It looks nice,
no beard, no mustache. Zoop, zoop, zoop. It's gone.
Oh, no mustache.
Wow. Yep. Clean cut.
Oh, it looks nice. I like it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
we thought that we were just going to be sit-ins. There was a plane of 52
people, and we thought we were just
going to show the inside of the plane. We were just going to be passengers in there and just going to skim over our heads.
And we thought that when we watched the episode, you're going to say, "Oh, okay. Oh, that's the top of our heads.
That's the top of our head."
Yeah.
It didn't work out that they actually chose us to be a couple of main characters in the episode. And
so it was really cool.
Oh, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So did they give you the prehistory, of everything that went around that investigation before you guys got there, or did you?
Yeah, we did our own research too, just so we were familiar with what was going on, in case we needed to know something that they weren't telling us at the time of filming. We wanted to be knowledgeable of everything that happened during that time too. So it was quite fascinating.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah. We've been very lucky. We've been very lucky.
So we've got Gettysburg. We've got Bigfoot in the book. What else we look is a little treat into the spooky, the bizarre.
Let's see.
Let me bring that back up again. I have put the Amazon link in the comment section.
Thank you so much.
You tune in later. If you pop over to either our YouTube or to Where's My Sage on Facebook, that link is on there. I've also dropped in Jimmy and Dee's Goosebumps Paranormal website, so you can find those there, and we'll put them up again throughout the hour, or the next 2 hours here. So,
thank you.
Yes. So, what else do we have going along in the book? What else do you want to tell us about the book? I mean, what drove you to write the book?
Well, I guess we got to back up a little bit to the first book, Guilt Trip.
Okay.
That's a fictional paranormal adventure.
Right. And I'm going to pull that screen up now.
Oh, we're really keeping you hopping, aren't we?
Well, that's why I usually have my wonderful partner. He does most of the talking as I do most of the clicking.
Oh, that's okay.
There we go.
Here we go.
And I will put that link in there as well. So again, the Guilt Trip, that photo is up on there, so you guys can find it available on Amazon as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fictional book that I started to write probably back in 2008, I want to say. I always want to write a book. I always loved writing. I took writing classes in high school, short story writing classes and that, and I always liked to write, but I never really did anything with it. When I did those backpacking ventures back in the 90s, when I used to go backpacking, I kept journals, and I actually turned those into short stories, which are pretty funny, which is going to be the next book coming up. Guilt Trip, I started writing, I think it was 2008. I had the idea for the story. It's a paranormal adventure. I knew where I wanted it to start, and I knew where I wanted it to end. I just didn't know how to fill in the blanks in between. So I started writing, and I wrote about 3 chapters, and then mind went blank. I just lost it, and I quit writing for a few years, I guess it was. But I still wanted to finish it sometime. So when it came to Pittsburgh and met Dee, well, you want to tell him how you came about that?
So we're dating, and he says to me, this Renaissance man that I'm dating says to me, "Oh, I'm writing a book." And I thought, "Oh, okay, he's writing a book." And he said, "Did you want to read it?" And I thought, "Oh, geez, here we go."
Now she feels obligated.
Yeah, and I went, "Yeah, sure." And then I'm thinking, "Oh, how am I gonna? Oh, I mean, what? He's a writer. How good could this be?"
He thinks he's a writer.
Yeah. So I started reading it, and it was so compelling. And I said to him, well, what happens next? And he says, I don't know. And I said, well, you better get going, because I need to know what happens to these. It was so good. And like I said, I had prepared myself that I was going to have to put on, it was really good.
Yeah.
It was so interesting.
So she sparked my interest in the book again, and I sat down, and over the next 4 months, I completed the book and got it published through Amazon, and it's been doing well. It's a very moving book. I mean, it's got humor in it. You'll, like my sister just wrote on here, you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll be frightened, you'll be amazed, you'll be it's an adventure book too.
Yeah.
It's a backpacking adventure on the Appalachian Trail, but
there's a little Civil War history.
There's a little Civil War history.
It's a paranormal.
The main character meets something along the trail there that completely changes his life. And when you read it, it might change the way that you look at life and death.
But it was great. I absolutely loved it. So yeah.
With that in mind, move back over here to Weird, Spooky, Bizarre. We decided, well, okay, the book's doing good, but it seems like, we've gone to a lot of shows, paranormal shows, Bigfoot shows. We do presentations. We have our own table. And it seems like most of these other people that have books are writing factual books about things. And that seems to be what sells the most. It's not the fictional, it's the factual books. So we thought,
and people would ask us about Guilt Trip and say, "Oh, is this a true story?"
Yeah, is this? Yeah,
and they seem
okay. I'm back. Sorry,
that's okay.
I have no clue what button I hit there, but I.
Well, it's okay. It's okay. We thought we were going to have to take over here.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, we were pushing on, baby. No host. What do we care? We're moving on.
Keep on watching.
I watched another friend, Alex, who we had on as guest last night on his show, and he's gone for a minute and a half.
Oh, yeah,
but thank God his host does another show. Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Yeah.
Hey,
if you have to go, Mike, that's okay. We'll turn off the lights. Not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So people wanted to hear true stories, and they wanted to share their stories. So we said, you know what?
We've got a lot of cases,
stories, and let's pick out what we want to do, and then that's what we started to do. And we wrote it together. The author is J.D. Trick. He's the J, and I'm the D. And I always say that he put the meat and potatoes in, and then I did the vegetable, the sides, and the dessert.
Yeah,
so I go in, and
it's funny because I would write the whole story.
What he thought was
the complete thing. And I would go into great detail. And I thought, boy, this is really good. I think I've got everything in here. And then I would give it to the editor and have her check it. And all of a sudden she goes, oh, what about this? You forgot about this. You forgot about this. Oh, let's add this. So my 25-page story suddenly turned into 40 pages, which turned out to be really good, though, because whatever she said, the details that I missed were important details that I missed. And so we wrote it together, and we're proud of it. It's a good book.
It is. It was really interesting. It was fun. And now, as we go on, now we are taking more copious notes and saving some recordings so that we can go back more easily instead of going by memory and then calling or texting the people that we were with at these other investigations.
Yeah, there will be a volume 2 at one point. Not anytime soon, but there will be another coming.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've gotten a lot of good feedback about it, which is great because that's what we want. We want people to, as we said, feel like they're there with us, right along, tagging along, like they're the third person standing over here.
So anybody out there, if you are, and Wendy, I see that you did go to Amazon and purchase it. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. If you could, when you're done reading the book, go to Amazon and leave a review for us, because right now we've got all 5-star reviews on both books. There's nothing less than a 5-star rating on these books. So that's got to tell you how good they are. So get these books, people.
But and we wrote it from the heart. So, I mean, and it's all true things. Nothing has been made up or we haven't exploited anything.
Oh, you're welcome, Jay.
Yes,
thank you.
and Jay just reminded me. Jay did his Finding Jay documentary.
Yes.
When you went back to write the book, did you find out or notice stuff that maybe you missed during the investigation? I mean, I know we all try as investigators to go back and look through. I've been, the last couple of weeks, there's one external hard drive, 2 external hard drives that I've been moving photos and videos and going, man, wow, I forgot about that. Or, comparing the audio with the video. And it's just, sometimes it's just not an easy thing. Did you notice some stuff that maybe you didn't notice that first time around or second time around?
If you're talking about evidence, I think we had everything pretty figured out pretty good and in pretty good detail. We did go back to a couple of sites and take some pictures because we've added a lot of pictures to the book so people can get an actual visual of where we were and what we did. And I think that helps a lot. I think pictures in a book mean a lot. We didn't have pictures in Guilt Trip. I didn't do that at the time. But on this Weird, Spooky, Bizarre, we did add a lot of pictures. And it turned out really well. I think people look for that.
The funny thing is we were going through, like you said, the hard drives, and we just found, here's the video from there that we couldn't find before that we just found that, we could have pulled some steals from that and put that in the book.
It's all, everything's lost in the archives. And it comes up at one point or another.
Yeah. But we've done investigations at private homes, and we've done public investigations. We've gone to asylums and private businesses.
Cemetery. Eric said you did his house.
Oh yeah, we did.
We did Eric's house too.
Yeah. That was weird. Eric, you might be in the next book. Yeah, that was weird.
He wants to come back on, so maybe we'll get you guys back. That's what we can do for Kristie for the rain check. We'll bring Eric on, and we'll go over the craziness at Eric's house.
He's got a lot of weird things going on.
He does. But yeah, so we've done, I guess, a little bit of everything, huh, honey?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not one, and we're not a little niche. We go anywhere and everywhere.
We just did an investigation this past Saturday night of somebody's house that they're having a lot of uncomfortable things going on. And we went there, and do we want to mention who we brought with us?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we brought another couple of people with us that are experienced in doing house blessings and saging and smudging.
Well, he brought along a psychic with him.
Yeah.
It's a friend of his.
So we ended up going around the perimeter of the house on the outside because they figured out there were some bad things on the outside also trying to get into the house. So we did the smudging and blessing and peace water around the perimeter of the house. We are now going through our tapes, our own, and they're going through theirs.
Yeah. And
probably by within a week or so, we're going to find out if there's anything else going on, and we're going to go back and then do an actual cleansing of the interior of the house.
Do you work with a lot of psychics, or?
Well, this friend of ours has one that he works with all the time. So no, we don't normally do that. So this was a little bit of a different kind of an investigation because when she walks in, normally when we go in, we like to interview the whoever the client is and find out what exactly is going on. This was the exact opposite. She's a psychic, and we gave her no background. She didn't know where she was going.
We didn't tell her anything that was happening in this house. Let her find out for herself.
She walks in, and she doesn't even want to have conversation in case somebody slips up and says what's going on. She doesn't want to have any kind of a bias. And
she was hitting on correct things that were going on.
Yeah.
That amazes me.
Yeah.
That's when we work with Kristie. That's how it is. We go in ahead of time, and she does her little walkthrough, and then we get the backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always love watching people's faces when you're working with her, and when the color drains, you're like, "Yep, we'll check that off, and we'll recircle back." And I'm usually walking around the recorder. Okay, go back to this at this time.
Well, it was a family, and the kids were gone, but their gigantic Saint Bernard was still there. And the husband was very hesitant. Would you say that hesitant? she was very much open to,
and very skeptical about everything.
Yes, and she was very much open to, there's something going on here, and she thinks that the kids see it, and so he was very, I'm
kind of standoffish a little bit, I guess.
I'm from Missouri. You got to show me. So when the psychic came through and was hitting on things, he did a total 180.
Yeah. He, at the end of the night, he told us he was very happy that we came and did the investigation. So.
Yeah. And it was very nice. He said, I want to thank you guys for coming. You guys were so professional. I'm very, very impressed. And, that's what we like to do. We like to help people. And
that's what we do it for. We're there to help. There's no fee. We don't charge anything to do these investigations.
Yeah.
We're just out there to help the people. That's our goal.
How do I compensate you nice folks for coming out and doing this for us? And we're like, no. Oh, come on. And no, that's not why we do it.
So when you get called, do you do general investigations, locations you want to go to, or are they more hauntings that you're going to help out with, or a little bit of both? I guess. My question across.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of both.
How we found this family, we had done an investigation for this, the lady who contacted us 2 years ago, and she remembered us. And so she recommended us to this friend. And that's how we, got this investigation.
And the weird part about this is that we did an investigation for these other people 2 years ago. When we just did this investigation the other night, and when we were recommended, she recommended us to them.
Lynette recommended us.
Yeah. When we did the investigation the other night, it was 2 years to the day that we did the other investigation.
With Lynette.
With Lynette. It was just, it was just weird.
That was weird.
That was weird.
Spooky and bizarre. And we didn't realize it at the time.
No, we didn't.
No, Jim just realized
because there was an original investigation date that got canceled because for various reasons that we had to switch up the date. So we changed the date, and then all of a sudden I didn't realize this till
today.
Today, today I figured it out today. Holy cow!
Yeah, but I always feel that everything happens for a reason. So.
Yeah. And that wasn't the full moon or anything like that. You were just out there that day.
Yeah. That's coming up, the 31st.
Yeah.
Halloween, I think, the full moon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. My buddy Paul said the books are available on Kindle as well. And that's how I got my copies on Kindle, which is always a great thing. And you're on multiple different platforms. And regarding platforms, again, folks, please like, share, subscribe, get the word out. If you have to tune out later tonight, we will be on Spreaker in a couple hours tonight. So the audio playback will be there, and of course the video is always up on YouTube. So have to get that little speech in there every so often.
Of course, thanks for having us. This is you're great. We're really we enjoy your show.
So thank you. So you've got a project coming with Edward from Bigfoot Quest. Mm-hmm. And he said we can talk about that a little bit if you guys are interested or would like to talk about that.
Sure,
of course, we're very excited about this project.
Edward's a great guy. Edward Munge and Aaron Dunbar have teamed up as co-producers. What else would you call them? I guess
so. Yeah.
Okay, we'll call them that.
That's what we're going to call them.
We're going to call them that.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're making a movie called Unknown Encounters, and it's going to be, I think, 4 different segments in this movie, and it's going to be. I don't know if we're allowed to say all that kind of detail. Well, can we say what one of the segments are?
I don't know.
Well, yes, we'll go back to his little research thing.
Yeah, what does Edward say?
He said
we don't know if that's they're an idea that they have, and they don't want anybody else to do.
He was watching. Where'd it go? Let's just talk about how you're involved with them.
Okay, that sounds good. They read our book Weird, Spooky, Bizarre, and decided that one of the stories in there, the old farm, would be something good to see you, Jay. Nighty night, sleep tight.
Night, Jay.
See you, bud.
And so they decided that that would be appropriate. They wanted to do one of the stories in there. And there, as we said, the old farm has so many things going on there.
Yeah, there's always something going on.
They started interviews, and we did those on Sundays.
This past Sunday.
Yeah.
Did an interviews.
They interviewed us
and they
briefly.
did some B-roll filming of the property and the barn, the haunted barn, and things like that. It's really going to be a great movie. I mean, we can't wait for it to come out.
The property is where, of course, the French and Indian War took place, Revolutionary War took place,
Civil War.
The Civil War took place.
A lot of things happened.
On
it's right on the route there, right there at the bottom of the state there.
Yes.
Trying to think of when we go down to Berners Manio for the Bigfoot camping adventure. I'm trying to think. I just know.
Yes.
Boom, 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 boom. There's just markers up and down and.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's so history laden.
Yep.
And again, so that's they have records from the house dating back to 1840, whenever it was built, and the original owners. They have paperwork. It's kind of like they have it now in a plastic box, but all the homeowners that lived there, which there was just a handful of people, but they put photos and paperwork. The taxes in 1896,
checks and receipts, and
the tax
from the 1880s.
The state taxes and the property tax, $1.90.
Wow.
Yes, in eight.
For how many acres back then?
It was 300 acres back then.
Yeah.
Now it's 69 acres. It was 300 acres.
Yeah. $1.90, and they wrote up a beautiful receipt for it. And nowadays, I mean, the $1.90 isn't even worth writing a check for. The mail, the envelope, forget it. But yeah, so they have things like that. So it's like a little time capsule that they're going to add to it too, because Frank and Kay's family owned it, and she grew up there. And there were, even whenever she was a little girl, she had a memory. She was telling us of things that happened there.
Yeah.
As well as continuing on now. And whenever her children lived in the house, the same thing. And now her grandchildren. And she kind of tried to shield her kids whenever they were little, but they would come to her and say the different things that were happening. And the same thing with the grandkids. She says that they don't want to scare them because they don't want them to not want to come. So, but they notice things going on, and it's just,
we highlighted quite a few instances in the old farm story in our book.
And same thing with what's going to happen with the movie too.
Yeah. Can we talk about the shadow?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. You want to? Yeah.
You want to take you guys need a quick break or something like that?
Well, we can take a break. Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
I'm going to do our questions or do our commercial. If you have any questions for Jimmy or Dee, please drop them in the chat box here. And we're going to do a quick commercial from WLFE DB Radio.
And make sure you come back. We're going to talk about the Shadow Man.
Yes, and I've got him pulled up.
Okay.
All right.
Hey everybody, this is Ted from Talk with Teddy and WLFE DB Radio Network. Let's talk about this network for a second. It's very unique, and it has different shows with different topics that you won't hear anywhere else. First, let's say our shows cover a wide range of topics. Paranormal to horror, skeptical to believers, and all types of variety shows. You won't be disappointed. In fact, we found, not by the limitations of audio, that we have added video casting as well. Do yourself a favor and check out a show or two. The full schedule is lined up on WLFEDBRadio.com. In fact, there are past shows as well that you can check out. So remember, WLFEDBRadio.com. Now here's a few of the podcast hosts that also carry the WLFE DB Radio brand and shows. Our shows can be heard on Spreaker, Deezer, iHeart, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and more. So check out WLFE-DB.com.
WLFE DB Radio.
We can talk about it. That's fine. Okay.
Did it again. I brought us back, and I muted myself. That's the first time tonight. I'm 2 for 2 for tonight with technology.
So are you saying that was something weird and spooky and bizarre?
No, that's normal, Michael. I don't push the right buttons.
Normal Michael.
As Kristie would say, I can break anything. I just keep pushing. It'll happen. And my new computer's touchscreen, so it's like, oh, I'll look at a comment and I'll click, and it's like, oh. Go back to the antique, but it's not as fast. So, again, if we're here with Jimmy and Dee Trick from Goosebumps Paranormal, and the boss is in there checking in.
Yeah, there she is.
Yeah.
Oh, Kristie.
Oh, she got a kick out of it. You messing up.
Oh, yeah. There was a nice message from my mother. What? Kristie's not going to be with you tonight. Who's going to pick on me the entire time? And Paul here, we should turn technical staff who's into a drinking game.
Oh, boy.
I love my team.
I like that. Where's my drink? I'm looking for mine right now.
We'll start it.
Yeah.
Okay. It'll start tonight. So if you have any questions for Jimmy and Dee from Goosebumps Paranormal, please drop them into the comments. You got some hello from the gang, Kristie, in through the comments, and I know you can kind of look in from the back room here. Unfortunately, she's not with us live tonight. She's kind of checking in. So you want to set the photo up, or do you want me to post it right up there first?
Let's set it up first.
Yeah.
Okay.
This has to do with the old farm with Frank and Kay. They've had a lot of activity and still do have some activity going on in the big old farmhouse. They contacted us one day and said that their laundry room used to be in the basement. And whenever Kay would go down and do laundry, she would see something out of the corner of her eye. And when she turned, she'd see a dark figure, dark shadow just for a split second, and then it would disappear. And this made her feel really uncomfortable. They kept hearing footsteps and voices. They also, you want to tell about the dog?
Well, I was going to say, also, whenever she was a little girl, she said there was always something spooky. She always felt weird down in the basement, and her mother would send her down to get something from the fruit cellar. Yeah. And she says that she would go down those steps and come back up as fast as she could because she just had a feeling in that basement of something that just didn't seem right.
Just didn't feel right.
And that she didn't want to be there.
Now, they also had
Alaskan Husky
dog, a very big dog. And the dog would spend a lot of time in the basement. They go downstairs with him and spend a lot of time down there. Well, it got to the point where the dog would stand at the top of the stairs and look into the basement and cry and whimper and wouldn't go downstairs anymore. Something down there was scaring him, and he wouldn't go down there.
He put the brakes on and didn't want to go down.
So what Frank did is to try and confirm what Kay was seeing, he took one of those game cameras and set it up in the basement. Now, those will only take a picture through motion. Something has to walk in front of that camera or move in front of that camera for it to snap a picture. So he set it up in the basement in the area where the suspected activity was. And then he and Kay and the dog, they left the house for hours, locked the house up. Nobody was in the house. There was nobody there. When they came back, Frank went downstairs to check the camera. There was a picture on the camera. It was taken while they were gone. You want to pull? You can pull up that picture now if you want.
And this is what they saw.
This is the picture that was taken.
Share screen. There we go. Actually, we're gonna go full screen so everybody can see it.
Okay.
Correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
yeah.
Yep.
See, perfect.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So we looked at this picture and went, "Wow, this is really something." I mean, if it was, I mean, you can see the basement is light enough that it would light up whatever human figure would be there. But this is just dark. So they sent us the picture. I ran the picture through some software and some filters because I wanted to see if I could pick up any buttons or zippers or seam lines on the clothing to see if it was in fact a person. And everything that I did, it came up looking dark like this, dark, fuzzy, dark mass. Nothing there whatsoever.
It looks like the silhouette of a man. Silhouette of a man. Oh, that's a different song. But it looks like the silhouette of a man, and it has the appearance of maybe possibly a top hat, wearing a top hat.
It kind of, if you glance at it, kind of looks like Abe Lincoln.
Yeah,
you know.
But that era is kind of what it looks like, and you can kind of see through it in parts of.
Yeah, it's almost transparent in spots. But I had a friend of mine that was a paranormal investigator here in Pittsburgh, and I sent the picture to him because he's got different software, more extensive software, and he did the same thing. He analyzed it as best he could, and he called me back and said, "Jimmy," he says, "I don't know what to tell you." He says, "I got nothing on this." He says, "This just comes up as being a dark mass." He says, "I think you got a picture of a real shadow man here." He says, "This is a good catch." And then he says, "And to tell you the truth, this makes me a little creeped out just by looking at this picture because it just gives him an uneasy feeling." So, you know, people can decide what they want. This is in our book too. We got the picture in our book with the story. We did end up getting in touch with a Monsignor. David actually got a hold of Monsignor.
Once again, thank you, David.
Yes. Because Frank and Kay felt really uneasy with this in their house, and he came and he did a blessing of the house, and thankfully things subsided after that was taken care of. I don't think they've seen this particular shadow figure, have they?
But so they had good things and bad things going on spirit wise. And so we go into more detail about that in the book and also in the movie. Kay spoke so eloquently about different things that have happened while she was growing up and things, again, that are still happening. Her mother was a very good cook, and she can still smell her mother's cooking, even though there's nothing cooking in the house. And one of her favorite things were snickerdoodles to make. Mm-hmm. And so she can smell snickerdoodles occasionally, so she knows her mom is there. So that warms her heart. Yeah,
we did like a round table session in her kitchen. There was Dee and I and Frank and Kay and David and his wife and Cindy. Was that it?
I don't know if Ricky Chirby was there.
I don't think Ricky was there.
If Eric was there. Somebody else was there, but
we were doing a roundtable session there, and we had an EMF detector sitting on the table. Now, the EMF detector, as most people know, that it'll show a disturbance in the air electromagnetic field, which is said to happen when a spirit tries to manifest itself or make itself known. The lights on this meter will light up in that. And it's funny because it was quiet most of the time we were talking, but every time the word snickerdoodle came up, that meter went crazy. It just lit up like crazy. And it was really strange. And we had audio recorders running on the table too. And after we listened to one of the tapes, when we mentioned snickerdoodle cookies, we heard a little girl's voice clearly say, "I'll have one." Just like that.
Yeah.
We don't know who it was, but it was definitely a little girl's voice. She said, "I'll have one." And we picked up, I think we determined there was 4 or 5 different entities in that house at the same time. A little girl, a woman, the shadow man. There was a grumpy old man too. Wasn't there something about a grumpy old man? Yeah. And we heard a deep growl when the dog wasn't even around. We heard a deep growl come through. It was challenging.
Every time we go, there's something that always happens, and it's very interesting. As well as on Sunday when we were filming with Edward and Aaron, the same thing. They interviewed us separately, and when Frank was in the chair in the room next door to the kitchen where we were, we had an EMF detector sitting on the table, and Frank started telling his story. And this EMF detector
it just went ballistic.
Bonkers.
It was topping out of all of the highest lights on there. It just, every time he started talking about the dark side that's there that he experiences, this meter went crazy.
Peaked all the way to red and we just stayed there. Oh, it was.
One of the strange things about this shadow man is the Monsignor, after he did a complete blessing, he went room to room, closet to closet. Once he did the blessing and left, he started having some bad luck, we were told.
Oh, yeah. That's what they told us.
Yeah. He started getting sick. He didn't know why he was getting sick. In fact, he actually had to leave the parish, and he moved to Florida because he thought the Florida weather would be better for him. He ended up passing away down there shortly after, and then nobody knows why. And we don't know if it's did something attach it to himself from doing the blessing and cleansing, or is it something totally not related at all? But it was just a very strange coincidence that it happened.
He had some illnesses and he fell, and there were some weird things that happened to him. And Frank and Kate said that they were glad that he came, but then they felt bad. They thought perhaps something attached itself to him, and so took the ill will with him. And that was.
But we'll never know.
No. Well, maybe someday we'll find out.
Yeah, someday. It was just very strange.
So there's just lots of weird stuff on that property, huh?
Oh,
lots.
If I'm looking at the shoulder there, does he have any other photos of what was on that wall by any chance?
I think whenever he got it set up, there was one, but there was nothing. Yeah. Tell me what you're thinking.
I'm just the pre and post. I'm just trying to figure out what that little spot is right there. I mean, I see some
exactly
pink in the corner here.
Yeah. So it almost looks like it's a lens flare or something, a reflection.
Yep. So, and that goes to my next question. Gear. What do you guys use for gear when you're out there in the field? What is your go-to piece of equipment? Either if you're out doing the paranormal thing or chasing the big hairy one around, or
I think we have two favorites, don't you think?
Yeah.
Digital recorder, we just love because it hears at a different level than the human ear does, so it will hear things that we can't. Yes,
but you'll hear it in playback,
right?
If it's there.
Yes, that is just awesome. That's what really piqued your interest in getting into.
Yeah, that's funny because when I first was getting into the paranormal, I was watching these ghost hunter shows, and they're using these audio digital recorders and things like that. I mean, they weren't just digital. They little micro cassette tapes at the time too. They weren't always digital. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to see if this is really weird. I'm going to see if voices do come through. So I grabbed, it was a mini cassette recorder that I had, and I drove to a local cemetery. This was when I was in Michigan, and it was a local cemetery. It was only about maybe 1 or 2 acres big. It was in the middle of a farm field, nothing around. It was a private family-owned cemetery. And I walked out in this field, and it was all fenced off, with those wrought iron gates and fences and that, kind of creepy looking. But it even had some grave sites from the Civil War soldiers in there, so it was pretty old. So I took the recorder and turned it on, and I set it down on one of the tombstones. And I just started asking questions, just anybody here with me? You want to make yourself known? So I walked around a little bit, came back again, left the recorder running. And then just before I was getting ready to leave, I asked one more question, and I said, is there anybody here still wandering around the cemetery for an unknown reason? Is there any way that I can help you if you are? And of course, while I'm there, I heard nothing, and there was no birds chirping, no dogs barking anywhere. The wind wasn't even blowing. I didn't hear it
during the day.
This is during the day, right in the middle of the afternoon.
Okay.
And so I didn't hear anything. So I turned it off, packed it up, and went back home. When I got home, I'm going to play this back and just see what this is all about. So I heard nothing going on through that whole tape until I got to this question. And that question again was, is there anybody here still wandering around the cemetery for an unknown reason? Is there any way that I can help you if you are? And 4 seconds after I said that, you heard a woman's distinctly voice say, no, just like that. Really loud, just like, no.
No.
And in fact, I'm getting goosebumps right now just talking about it. That's why we call ourselves My hair's standing up right now talking about it. Yeah. But I played that thing over and over and over, and it was the same thing over and over. I even started playing it for some friends of mine. And I said, I'm not going to tell you what I think I hear. I want you to tell me what you think you hear. And so I played it for them. And when they got to the point, their eyes got big. They say, that's a woman saying no. And yeah, that's a woman saying no. Right. So that got me hooked. I thought, well, maybe this stuff is really true. Maybe this does happen. So our audio, we use digital now. We got, I think, 5 of them. Those are really our go-to things that we like the best. Our EMF detector. We got tons of stuff, but we usually go with 3 or 4 things on an investigation that we just like to highlight.
The other thing we really like are just the little micro or the mini mag light flashlights.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we've had good results with that asking, doing Q&A with that, with, can you turn the light on and then fill in the blank. And,
Are you familiar with the way those mini mags work, Mike?
Yeah, actually, we've got some good video from the Star Clark Tin Shop in Mexico, New York.
Oh, nice.
And that one night we're just bounced back and forth.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
I've been out. We all know Steve Culls. I was out with him and his group at the Hinsdale house, and I saw them.
Oh, the Hinsdale, yes.
Yeah, go crazy. I think
Nick Groff was just there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I think Danny posted something. But for those that aren't familiar, if you wouldn't mind explaining, the whole the background on those.
Yeah, the mini mag flashlight. It's just a regular little flashlight, and I don't have one here, but it's got a twist. It's got a twist bezel on top. It's not a button switch. The one we use is a twist bezel. So we just twist it. Is there one over there? Maybe
I'm looking.
Okay. We just turn it to the point of turning on and turning off, and just leave it off. And we'll stand it up. I made a little stand for it, so it stands up in the middle of the room. And then we'll start asking questions. Oh, you got one there?
Oh, I thought I did.
Oh, we do. Oh, we got one here. We got one here.
Yeah.
There we go. We got one right here. Hold up so you can see it.
The recovery from surgery, everything's packed up in the garage.
We'll use this as a communication device.
And it's just a regular mag light flashlight that you can get at a hardware store.
Yeah, go to Home Depot, get it anywhere you want. Yeah,
anywhere.
I got one in the giveaway kit. So subscribe, like, share, and when we get to those numbers, I've got one in there with a nice sling bag to go with it. So
awesome. Yeah.
Do you use one or do you use two lights when you're out there?
We usually
yes or no?
Usually just one. Yeah. And what we'll do is we'll ask questions, and they're usually yes or no questions, and make it simple. Is there somebody here with us wants to make themselves known? And then, nothing may happen, but sometimes that light will come on, and then we'll ask another question. Could you turn it off? It goes off. Now, there's a lot of people out there who say, well, it's got nothing to do with spirits. It's the way the contact points are in the flashlight. They expand, they contract, and that's fine. If you want to believe that, that's okay. But we believe differently on that when you're sitting there and the thing is off for a long time, and then you ask a question and the thing comes on directly after you ask a question and stays on and stays on and stays on until I say, could you turn that light off now? And then the light goes off immediately. I think there's more to it than just contact points expanding and contracting. I think there's something to it. And we've had some really good luck with these flashlights. We've got some good videos. We've got really, really good experiences with these. Yeah.
Really those are I'd say those are our two go-tos. They're our favorite things. Nothing. And again, nothing fancy. I mean, $100 and you have two good pieces of equipment and you can go out.
We had one guy that he thought he was the Mr. Scientist.
Yeah, we put it in the book.
It's in the book. It's in the Hillview Manor story.
Yeah.
And we told him about the flashlight, going on and off, and he didn't believe us. He says, "Can I see it?" And I said, "Well, yeah." I said, "It's just a regular flashlight." Yeah. So he looked at it. And he's tapping it on the table and trying to make it work. And
he took it
apart piece by piece. He thought I had a remote control in it or something like that. And he ends up putting it all back together. And I said, "Well, what do you think?" He says, "Well, it looks like a regular flashlight." I said, "That's what I said."
And then he decided he wanted to tag along with us so that we could show him, and they shocked him.
And it worked with when he came with us too. We had some really good activity with it. It was great. It really was.
We used them when we were on Finding Bigfoot also. Yep. And so they showed on the show, they only showed the flashlight going off one time, but it went off numerous times. And
the trouble is with Finding Bigfoot. I mean,
all the TV shows.
It's a show. It's a TV show. They'll show you what they want you to see.
So, as I said, it happened more than once, but it's funny because even friends, relatives. So what's the deal with that flashlight? You have a remote control, right?
No, they didn't believe us.
It's a mag light flashlight. That's all that it is. There's no trick to it, even though that is our name. By the way, yes. Yes. It's technically it is a trick flashlight if we own it.
Yeah, that's true.
But, There is no remote control. There's nothing. But yeah, people that I know, I'm thinking, are you kidding me? No. Like we're going to rig a flashlight.
And we're not the only ones who use it. I mean, Mike,
Yeah.
you use it. There's other paranormal investigators who use it, and they have good luck with it. So
The first time I saw it, I was kind of like, okay. But I watched it come out of the package because somebody forgot one. I watched them put the batteries in. And then I've supplied my own at different places. So here's one, here's two. So here's a yes flashlight, here's a no flashlight.
Yes.
Okay. Can I prove yes, no, or maybe? No, but it's something that goes in a little checkbox.
Right.
And I'll go back to it. And is it tied with A, B, and C? Again, I'm the skeptic of our team. But man, I've seen those. Like I said, the last place that we did, we had multiple flashlights up, and we could feel like wind moving through the room.
Oh,
and it was a little kid we were communicating with, and he was basically doing, duck, duck, goose around the room. And you got two in one corner and two in the other. And, Kristie's asking questions, and it's lighting up, and it's lighting up here. She's trying to offer the spirit candy, and no, you want beef jerky? Yeah, I knew what beef jerky was. I wanted beef jerky. So little lights, and I mean, we've got that on. We've used it, a lot of our investigations that we've put on. Yeah. We use as flashlights all the time, and I know some guys that use the push button ones, and I've seen those.
I've seen people use them.
Jack uses those, and a few other folks, but I'm watching that with the EMF meter go off and millimeters, and I've watched multiple pieces of equipment that I don't quite understand, but when they're all going off at the same time, you kind of go, all right, we're going to put the GoPro on this. We're going to record it.
Yeah.
I was with a whole bunch of folks and watched some crazy stuff one night at Hinsdale that I can't explain. I mean, to the point that I came home and deleted the video because I did not like what I saw. Yeah. I'm like, that creeped me out.
It sounds like you're a lot like us. We try to debunk. We don't automatically assume, well, A happens, so that means that it equals B. And that we're not like that at all.
Yeah,
we try
the first thing we try to do is there's got to be a logical explanation for what's happening. Yeah. And when we exhaust all those possibilities, then we go, well, okay, let's move on to the next step.
Yeah.
So go ahead. Sorry, Dee.
Well, I was going to say that's the definition of paranormal, and that's why we put it in our book. It's something that cannot be explained scientifically. And so that's what we do is we say it's paranormal. And you judge if you think that it's a haunting, a ghost, a spirit, some sort of an entity. But it's something that can't be proven by science. So
now, are there locations you go to and you're like, no, that's just the hot water heater. That's just, some mechanical thing in the house.
Yeah.
And you feel bad for the folks that are there because they think things are there. But at least you as an investigator can say, nope, that's not there. I carry a thermal with me a lot because I'm looking for the equipment. I'm looking for the pipes in the walls. I'm looking for water drips and that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm. Now, when we were at the Cashtown Inn, I mean, this inn was built in 1797. Now, we stayed in that room number 3 where A.P. Hill made his headquarters. And during the night, we heard creaks and all kinds of weird noises. Yeah. I can easily see that to somebody that is not an investigator, that they're just staying there for the night. They say, man, all these noises, this place is haunted. But we determined a number of times that the creaks we heard was they had radiator heaters on the wall, the old tube radiators. And that was the water and stuff going through.
Expanding and contracting.
We got to listen to it. Go, that's what this is. That's what sounds like somebody walking or tapping on a pipe or something. That's what it was. So we try to debunk everything.
Squeaky floor.
But there was one thing we could not debunk that happened there.
Yeah.
I should probably tell them this. We went to bed the one night.
I don't know. This is part of the book.
Well, it's okay. There's a lot of things in the book.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
This is why folks need to go get the book because
that's right.
Stories like it.
Yeah.
We stayed at the Cashtown Inn in room number 3. Then it was said to. In fact, the Ghost Hunters show on TV. Jason and Grant stayed. They did a show from this particular room. We went to bed and I was laying on my stomach.
This is where he's the meat and potatoes. So I'm going to give you a little bit of the sides of the dessert.
Here we go.
So
take her away.
So again, we're in this beautiful room with this I mean, the wooden floors and the 4-poster bed and the fireplace that no longer works, and just absolutely gorgeous.
It was great.
Everything was beautiful. And hanging on the back of the door was his Union General's uniform.
I thought, well, why not get a Confederate general pissed off by hanging a Union General's uniform in his room?
Maybe use that as some sort of a
trigger object
to see if what's going to happen. And this beautiful 4-poster bed had the squeakiest mattress that if I moved my finger like this, it
made all kinds of noises.
Oh,
it was really creaky.
Yeah, it was creaky and creepy, and I am
and fun. It was cool. Yeah. So I'm laying on my stomach. We had video recorder at the time. The video recorders we had set up were using the cassette tapes. I didn't have digital at the time, and those cassette tapes only ran for an hour. So I had to set my alarm for every hour to get up and change the tape, because we let it run in the room while we were sleeping in case something happened. And also had a digital audio recorder sitting on a nightstand next to me, and just let that run.
And then we had the camera was facing the opposite corner from where we were. There was a laser grid. We had a laser grid, and
it was pointing towards a what would you call it, a buffet with a chair with a mirror.
It was a little makeup table.
Like a makeup table.
Yeah.
And
little vanity.
Said to have movement on the table.
And a rocking chair that sometimes rocks on its own.
So we had the camera set in that way, not looking at us in bed.
Yeah.
So went to bed. I'm laying on the bed on my stomach. I got one arm, my left arm's under the pillow, and my right arm is up on the pillow like this. Sound asleep. All of a sudden, I feel this arm, the forearm, it starts to shake. I mean, shake violently, not like a little muscle spasm. And it shook so much that it woke her up. It shook the whole bed. The bed was creaking, making noises.
I sleep through anything and everything.
And all of a sudden she wakes up, she says, "What's going on?" And I said,
"Did you feel that?
Yeah.
The bed's moving. What's going on?"
And I said, "I don't know." I said, "My arm's shaking. As soon as I opened my eyes, it stopped. Just completely stopped." And I thought, well, was this a dream? But it couldn't have been a dream, because she felt it. So I remembered I had the audio recorder recording, so we played it back, and you heard everything on the recorder. You heard the bed shaking, you heard us talking. Excuse me. So it happened. Well, we didn't think any more about it. Just
that was weird. We filed that away and thought, that was odd.
So it wasn't until about a year and a half later we were back in Gettysburg, and I was talking to one of the historians there on the battlefield, and I was telling him about my episode at the cash town about my arm shaking, stuff like that, and the whole time I'm telling the story, he's just kind of smiling and nodding his head like this, like acknowledging it, and he goes, "Well, you know the story behind that, don't you?" And I go, "I don't know. What are you talking about? What story?" He says, "That was General A.P. Hill's room. That was his headquarters. A.P. Hill had a young cadet. That was his right-hand man. If somebody needed coffee, he'd go get the cup of coffee. If he needed to get somebody to talk to, the kid would go get it. So blah, blah, blah." So he says the general this is the night before the Battle of Gettysburg started. The general went to bed because, he had planned things all day long. So he went to bed to get some rest. Well, during the night, something happened. The general needed to be awakened for an emergency. They sent a cadet in there to wake him up, and they said that the cadet grabbed the general's forearm, and shook him real violently to wake him up. And we're going, what? So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Really neat.
He didn't shoot the cadet, did he?
I don't know. Maybe if the cadet's still in there, maybe that's what happened to him.
Here we are.
Oh, there we are, dressed up in our gear.
I just realized that's behind us.
Can you see it?
Let's see if we go to this one. That'll work better. Yep. Very nice.
Yeah, my southern. That was I'm with my general. I'm southern. I was a Southern Belle.
That was actually the picture we used for our wedding picture.
Yeah, our wedding invitations.
Very nice.
Yeah.
If anyone has any questions for Jimmy and Dee, please drop them in the comments. So we've got the recorder, we've got the flashlights.
Right.
How much time do you guys spend out in the woods with the Pennsylvania Bigfoot Society guys and getting out there and doing Bigfoot kind of stuff? And what do you use when you're out there with them?
A lot of the same thing. I mean, we don't really use a a mag flashlight, but definitely the auto recorder. I've got to the point now to make my job easier. I bought myself a denim vest, and I've got Velcro stitch on here, and I'll Velcro auto recorder here. I've got a body cam I put here that like the police officers use. I found that to be really helpful because wherever I go, that camera is always on taking pictures.
So whatever
you don't have to hold the camera.
Yeah, and what he's
always on
looking
there on my
at,
chest.
yeah, whatever he's looking at, that's.
We'll take EMF detectors with us.
And sometimes I'll have my own digital recorder just in case it's backup.
Yeah,
because they always go down for some reason.
They do.
Yeah,
and that's why I got this. It's like an old fishing vest, but it's a denim, and it's got extra pockets for batteries and things like. Because you're going to need them. You're definitely going to need more batteries.
That's the kind of stuff we just went out with Eric. And I guess it was whenever David had passed away. We did an honorary investigation, and that was interesting. And once again, here's a surprise: it rained. Yeah. It rained, and Eric will have to tell you about the weirdness that happened that night. So we had some weirdness that happened.
That was cool.
Very interesting. Yeah. So, but we'll save that story for him.
Yeah, that's his story. He can tell that.
Yeah.
But we were with him when it all happened.
Yeah, we're tagging along, and all of a sudden our caravan of vehicles came to us.
We're back on these 2-track roads on the Chestnut Ridge, back on the Game Lands 51 back there, and supposedly there's supposed to be a lot of activity back there, and it was pouring down rain. There was thunder and lightning. It was perfect. And then all of a sudden, Eric was driving ahead of us in his truck, and all of a sudden he slams on those brakes and he comes flying out. But he'll have to tell you everything that's going on. I can't go into detail. That's his story.
That's where I heard my first scream, standing there talking with Jay.
Oh, is that really?
Yeah, it was up in there. And then we found the print with Joey and the rest of and Brian and all those guys at one of the Bigfoot camping adventures.
Oh, yeah.
That was my first year down there. I'm like, is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Nope.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a hot spot.
Everybody's gotta go.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta go because you gotta go.
See, I'm me personally, when you're talking about Bigfoot and that, me personally, I'm still on the fence. I need more evidence to prove to me that it's real. I don't think it's impossible. Because scientists are still finding lost tribes in the Amazon, that they've never known about before. So why couldn't there be a Bigfoot? I don't know. I just have trouble believing everything. When people go out in the woods and they hear a noise, they go, "Oh, that's a Bigfoot." I go, "Come on, did you see it? I mean, you got proof." But I'm leaning, and Dee is too. We're leaning a lot more towards an interdimensional being. If it does exist, that's kind of the way that I'm thinking it could be. Because there's reports where it would just people see it and then it just disappears with thin air sometimes. So I don't know. I mean, I don't have enough knowledge, enough evidence. I'm not one of these big Bigfooting guys that goes out every weekend and does it. Once in a while we'll go out with a few people and to have some fun in that. And I find it very interesting. I love being out in the woods, but I just need more to show me that it's real.
So when you're there, do you do what am I looking for? EMF recording, or do you do recording?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're really like you guys did on Finding Bigfoot. You're still doing paranormal kind of things while everybody else is looking at the dirt and hugging the trees.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Because we don't want to be the ones to say, well, it has to be of actual form and a living, breathing animal or being. Because,
and many people believe that. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
No.
If that's what you want to believe, that's fine with me.
But we are open-minded enough to think that, you know what, we might not be the only planet that has, beings on it, living beings on it. And
maybe he's an alien for all we know. We don't know.
Yeah. So we're open-minded to any and all of that.
Awesome.
Yep. We just did we went on our own we went out Bigfooting a couple of weeks ago and to one of David's favorite haunts. Yeah. And we parked at the end of this circle, and is it State Game Lands there?
It's all, okay.
Yep. So State Game Lands. And we've been there a million times with David and his wife, Cindy. And we brought chairs, and we're planning on spending, quite a bit of time there. And we decided to go for a walk on one of the trails before it got dark. And just as we enter, there's a gate so that nobody can drive through. We walked about 10 feet and turned left, and there I see, okay, that appears to be a pile of bear.
Scat.
Yeah. Okay, we'll use the technical term. Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a little one here, and Kristie was talking about it. Where's my button?
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So what do you want? Yeah.
She made a little comment that I didn't have to go ahead and use the explicit bear.
All right. What do you want me to say? Because
she's Italian, so she can really rattle it off.
Oh yeah. 2 languages. All right. So it was a pile of. Okay. We'll say
it's a pile.
Yes. 2 of them. One that was semi-smashed, and one that was not smashed at all. Right by the entrance. Yeah. So we know that's a bear, and a bear has been.
Yeah, it's nothing but woods and woods and woods all around there. So we don't know what's out there.
So from being this, hey, this is going to be a nice night. It's beautiful. Let's hang out and see what we can come up with. Okay, now we're on our toes, and now we're being strategic about where we're parking our vehicle, where our chairs are facing, so that something can't sneak up from behind us. All right, I got this vantage point. You have this vantage point. And then Jim took one of the lights that he usually uses for a video, and he put it on that fence post.
It's it's a video spotlight. And I just sit on pebbles, and I just turn it on.
So that was
and let it light up that whole area, because where we were sitting, it was so dark. We couldn't see if anything was coming out from that area. Like a bear,
3 feet, 4 feet in front of you.
We lit it up.
Black.
We lit up with a spotlight, so we had plenty of warning if something came.
So that was and we had the body cam, and we had the EMF detector, digital recorder, and thermal. We had some the FLIR going,
and a 9mm.
Oh yeah, yeah. So and the funny part is we thought, because this was not planned at all. We weren't going to do this at all. So, hey, we're hungry. Let's stop at Subway on the way down. So, yeah. So,
no, it's an inside joke. That's usually what we get on the way to.
Oh, okay.
And I hate Subway.
Yeah. So we had our nice little Subway sandwich before we went for our walk and discovered this bear scat. And so, crumpled everything up, and we'll just leave them in our little chairs that we have sitting here. Nobody's going to bother them. And then when I saw the bear scat, and now the mind is going, and I thought, oh, well, there we go. We've just put out some bait for the bear, because I can still smell.
You can still smell the sandwiches.
I can smell it on my hands, and I thought, oh, well, I know a bear. If I can smell this, I know a bear's going to be able to smell this. So yeah. So the whole time it was
on your toes for sure.
Yeah, we were definitely on our toes. So it went from, like I said, a nice will be interesting. This will be fun too. Okay, what's going on over there? It was constant head on a swivel.
Yep.
Yeah.
So both realms, the cryptid realm and the paranormal realm, what's your best evidence that you've ever got? Stuff that you guys have collected yourself, not, the shadow figure is definitely an interesting piece of evidence.
I think it's got to have to be the EVPs. We get some really good EVPs in Gettysburg.
I would say so too. When we do presentations, we have a PowerPoint, and we have we load up some of the EVPs that we have, and we like to give a little background story, and then play the EVP and ask the audience, what did you hear? What did it sound like to you?
Yeah, we like to get the audience to participate and get them involved and let them figure out what it is.
Yeah, we don't want to predispose them to say, hey, doesn't this sound like it's saying, hey, get out of here?
Yeah. We'll play it and say, what did you hear? What did you hear? What do you think it was? And then, we like doing that. But we get some we've gotten gunshots on the recorders when there's been nothing around until we play it back. It sounded like a battle right there, where we were. Boom, 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 boom. There was one time I walked around a battlefield by myself, and I had a recorder with me, audio recorder, playing a recording, and I was just asking questions, but of course I wasn't hearing anything. And when I got back to my vehicle, I played it back, and from the time I stepped on the field to the time I got off the field, you heard all these other men's voices talking with me the whole time I was around there, and I never heard anything. There was no tourists around me. There was nobody around me, for 200 yards probably. And they sounded like they were right next. I couldn't make out their dialogue, what they were saying, but you could hear a number of different men's voices just talking, carrying on a conversation the whole time I was walking around that field. You get something different all the time.
How about yours? What's yours?
Mine, I've got some video, and I've got some hair samples. We've got some really good EVPs. I've got a really good EVP up at Hinsdale where I got told off by the whatever was there. I asked if the place was tranquil. I got a yes, and then I got no, it's tranquil, because I mumbled, and we didn't tell everybody what it was. We brought it inside, and there was about 10 other people in there, and just watch everybody look like, okay. I tend to the video but my big thing is really to debunk a lot of what we're getting, but a lot of things I can't, and I just chop them up. I put them in a little section there. I'm running with some hair right now that I got a buddy of mine that's been running under microscopes and comparing it to everything in New York State, and he still can't figure out what it is. So I've been trying to find other people to go. I had that really great screen with Jay and those guys down there in Pennsylvania. We find stuff, we put away. I'm now carrying a 3D scanner app on my phone. So now when somebody says, well, it disappeared, well, where did it disappear from? You can go 3D scan that area and see if there's still an imprint there. Where you could try a cast, you're not going to get stuff, but you can see if it's a double bear. You can turn it sideways, you can turn it up. So
that's cool. Yeah.
And it's the ability to get out, check history, because the locations I love to go to, of course, are the historical places.
Yeah, that's too.
And get out in the woods, get some fresh air.
That's it.
As you guys know, our thing is, where's my sage? It's a taste of the universe. We want you to taste. We want you to get out. Going down in your area, that whole Chestnut Ridge area. I mean, the military history through there. It's crazy. The hiking, the beautiful valleys. The game lands, it's there. I mean, where we go and what we do is we try to, bring some stuff together, and working with a medium, trying to compare what I'm getting and what she's getting. We did a nursing home once, and she's going through and knocking stuff off, and I'm scanning the room, and I'm like, okay, and talking to the folks that run the facility. I mean, still an active facility. And I'm like, we got stuff here. Well, there's no electrical running through here. There's nothing here. Why am I getting EMF detector going off?
Right.
Why have I cold spots when there's nothing behind the wall to give you a cold spot? And, that's the kind of stuff you chuck it up, you put it away, and so it piques your interest to go back out and try it again.
Right. That's what I said. Yeah. It's the little things that keep you going.
In the architecture, we do a lot of tours, a couple of hotels up in the Buffalo area, and just going through the history. I mean, where do you find some of the scroll work and some of the wood, or some of the places I've been to with the Squatch detective Steve Culls there. We've been out to some places in Vermont that just mind blowing. You're just out there with a camera, like, okay, I don't care if a big hairy thing walks in front of me. There's, most of the photos that you see on my back screens are places I've been. I mean, I've been to the swamps in Florida with the guys from Naked and Afraid, and you're just like, oh man, and
yeah.
I mean, I got some great sound. We're miles and miles kayak into this little campsite, and you can hear something throwing rocks at the shelter we're in all night long. And I'm like, wow, I know what it is. It's because I'm snoring, but you can hear pink, and there's no rain, and it's just like, okay, what was going on there? So you take that time and you see what's there. Who are your mentors, or do you have any mentors in the field?
Well, Bigfooting was definitely David, for sure.
Yeah, he taught us a lot. David did teach us a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We didn't know anything about Bigfooting until we went out with him. And he would always invite us out on any time.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a report. You want to come with us? So we'd go, and we definitely learned a lot from him and techniques and what they do.
When
What
we
about
went,
paranormal? Oh, sorry, Dee.
well, I was going to say when we did Finding Bigfoot, Cliff Barrickman took us out, and so on the show they showed us doing the paranormal. But what they didn't show you is after we did that, he said, "I want to take you guys out Bigfooting now," and so he taught me how to do a yell. So I do the kind of scream that it's very primal scream kind of thing that he taught me how to do. So it's a little bit different than but everybody does a different scream. And there's again, is this the proper one? Is this the official? That's not an official Bigfoot scream. I
don't scream.
Yeah. Well, so he taught me, his style, what he's,
a howl or
and very guttural
call.
So he taught us some things, and
but they didn't put that in the show.
Yeah, no,
they filmed it all.
Oh my! And we had so much fun with that.
Yeah, it was really cool. But
so Cliff,
they didn't put it in there.
Yeah, I would have to say David, of course, and oh God, we miss him so much. Paranormal. I don't know. Who do you think?
Well, I guess I would have to credit the first couple of guys I ever watched, and that would have to be Jason and Grant from Ghost Hunters. That's the first show that I ever watched, and that's kind of I saw what they did and got the technique down. I think probably they probably helped me get started, get my knowledge in it.
Okay. Have you gotten a chance to go out or do anything with them or meet them in person?
No, not yet. I have not. I would love to sometime, but have not had a chance yet to do that. But
yes, we are. That's kind of our style. We don't do provoking. We don't. That's not. We disagree with that style of trying to anger and.
Yeah, there's some investigators out there that like to provoke and antagonize, and I think you're asking for trouble. I mean, I don't want to mention any names, but his initials are Zach Bagans.
Yeah.
I don't agree with his style. I really just don't. I think he's asking for trouble the way he does it.
Yeah.
We're respectful of the deceased. We try to be easygoing, and if that doesn't work, then we figure, okay, then nothing's going to happen. Okay. I'm not going to say, and jump out and get all angry and say, you better show yourself right now and start getting all, pissed off at, because I think it's just trouble.
We're also very respectful of the areas that we're in because of all the history that has taken place. And we don't use it as a sideshow. And no matter where we go, whether it's a private home, because you don't want to stir the pot incorrectly because people have to live there. I mean, they have to live their life. So, what you may think this would be awesome. I could get so much evidence to provoke something, then you leave, and then you may end up leaving that.
And then they're stuck with it.
Yeah. So that's not a good thing. And as I said, when we go to historical sites too, we're very respectful for the areas because these people have passed away. They
were once living human beings like we are.
Yes.
So. And Einstein said that, energy can't be destroyed. It can only change form from one form to another. And I believe that's what the human soul, the spirit is made up of. It's made up of energy. When your body dies, that energy has to go somewhere. Sometimes it's left behind for whatever reason. And I think those are some of the readings and things that we experience and the EVPs that we get. Don't know why those souls or spirits are still around. Maybe they have unfinished business. I don't know. We're still trying to find out those answers, and I'm sure we won't know the answers until we become one of those people, those spirits.
Yeah.
So where do you want to go next? What's your on your?
Well, right on.
I don't like calling on bucket lists when you're talking about paranormal.
I know.
your travel lists.
Yeah. Trans-Allegheny.
Trans-Allegheny Asylum is one we're really looking at right now.
We're trying to see if we can squeeze that in. We are having a busy October, so we don't know if we're going to be able to make it in October. So it might be later on in the year. But that's someplace that we really want to go. We want to go back to Gettysburg again.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so much happening there.
And we always go to different areas. Every time we go to Gettysburg, we go to different areas. There's so many places to go to. And you're going to get something wherever you go.
Yeah.
There's so much energy there. So much.
So those are I guess those are two biggies, huh?
For right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and we're doing some private investigations too. So,
do you have any events coming up? I know COVID's kind of killed a lot of stuff that's
Oh,
going
yeah.
on.
We do have one coming up November 21st. It's which one was that? I think it's a UFO event, but it's going to incorporate Bigfoot and the paranormal also.
Is it the Butler?
No, it's not the Butler one. That one's coming on until April again.
Oh, okay. That's the thing. We had so many events coming up. We were going to be speaking at so many too, and then one by one they just went.
Yeah, they kept dropping off.
Yeah. So we've only been to a few this year because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID kind of. Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're ill prepared for the plug on our next location.
But we don't. It's a problem is we don't know. Last weekend was supposed to be Peter Weimer's Chautauqua Lake Bigfoot Expo. It's my favorite. It's the one that got me started in this whole mess and meeting everybody.
It's beautiful.
And I went from there to to Eric's in the spring. But COVID's New York. We can't do anything. Can't go anywhere. Can't see anybody.
Yeah.
Coming down to see you guys. It's like, whoa.
5
hours. It's not going to be, it's World War III to do that. So,
yeah.
Is there anything I missed that you guys would like to cover? Kind of hit your
well, when we wrote the book, we had to change the names to some of the folks in there, and that's why at the beginning of our interview we were talking and saying, well, geez, can we try and especially whenever it's a private home, we try and
we don't like to reveal the location or the real names just because we don't want these gawkers of people ending up at their house and their property searching for themselves. So we change the names or don't reveal the actual location for that purpose.
So that kind of thing that we've done that. We did that was the very last story in our book. We went to a private home. The gentleman called us. It was so weird because Jim has on his Jeep, he has Goosebumps Paranormal Society.
It's in the window. I got the decals in the back window, advertising with the phone number.
With the phone number. And we were on our way to an event and passed a vehicle. And a few days later, this gentleman called and said, well, we were on Interstate 79 and we saw your vehicle and we decided to call you. By the way, that works for and against you because sometimes, you get
advertising's good, but it can bite you in the ass too.
Yeah. You get the crackpot call at 4 a.m.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, he started telling us a story about all the things that were going on in their house. And I mean, we're just taking notes, writing. It was a couple pages. We were on the phone with him for probably an hour and a half. Well, he says, I don't want to say too much. But he just kept going on. And then he said, well, there's still more, even though I'm telling you this much, there's still more. And so we ended up going there and there was so much paranormal and a lot of negative things that were going on there.
That was a good case.
Yeah.
That's the last one in the book.
Yeah. So we changed their names because they were afraid. We went back there twice and they were afraid to have us come back again. We kind of feel that something attached itself to the wife and that she put the push to, no, we don't want you guys to come back anymore. Because we kind of got to the root of what was going on.
We were getting real close to finding out what the true thing was, and we were zeroing in on her.
Yeah,
and we really believed that whatever had a hold of her realized that, and then made her tell us, "You're not coming back anymore.
Yeah.
You're done."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The every woman that had lived in that house died a tragic death, whether it was they were pushed down the steps and died. Another woman hung herself in that house.
In the basement, yeah.
And she's the third woman in that house to live in there. And everything's happening to her. She was being scratched and felt like somebody was laying on top of her and doing things to her.
There's some other things that are in that particular story.
Yeah.
And when you read it, you'll just go, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems unbelievable, but it's there.
People knocking on their door that are they a real person? Then they go back and the husband answers the door one time and talks to a nice lady who said she used to live there. And then a week later, his wife answers the door, and the same lady, same name, says that she lived there, but a totally different
woman.
Yeah. And it was one of the ladies that had died in the house.
Okay.
Which at the time they didn't know that, so they were doing some research on the name, and they found her obituary. It was just
a lot of weird things, but it's we put it all in that story.
Yeah, but we changed their names.
But it's
protecting us.
Yeah.
And it's that time of year for that spooky, weird, strange,
Yeah. So that one did not end. We wanted to see it to fruition, but we had to pass it along to somebody else.
Yeah.
To finish it off.
So hopefully everything with them is fine.
Yeah.
We never heard what happened.
We just got little bits and pieces from the gentleman who he'd been an exorcist, and he had gone over to the house. So.
And do you work with other teams quite a bit, or?
We do, not a lot.
We just did the other night.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, yeah.
Yeah, we teamed up with another team.
Most of the time it's on our own, but when we realize that we need help with something, a particular thing that we don't cover ourselves.
Or it's too big of
like smudging or cleansing. We don't do that ourselves, but we know people that do. That's when we'll bring other people along.
We got to tag along with Oakmont Paranormal Society with the Carnegie Library in Homestead. It's a haunted library that Andrew Carnegie, the steel baron from Pittsburgh, built up on the hill, up from we used to be the steel magnates. And so he built this as a philanthropic. He spent, I think they said the equivalent of, what was it, in today's dollars, because this is at the turn of the century, the late 1800s, early 1900s. Today's equivalent of like $45 billion he had given away.
Yeah.
Because at the time, he sold his Carnegie steel to what ended up becoming U.S. Steel. And he, at that time, became the richest man in the United States whenever he did that. So, as a way to give back to the community, he gave away money and built Carnegie Library, Carnegie University, and then you might have heard of Carnegie Hall in New York City. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so there's a lot of history with this library, and there are things that happen in this library. A gentleman passed away in the swimming pool, one of the steel workers. They made it so that there was an athletic club there, a swimming pool.
Okay, I was like, swimming pool in a library. Now that's what library.
Yeah. The U.S. Olympic team used to train at that swimming pool.
Yeah.
So it was well known at the time.
But now, back in the turn of the century, the steel workers, everything was black, including the steel workers whenever they were done working. So they would come up there, and if they wanted to swim in the pool. So what ended up happening is this gentleman here's what the folklore is, that he got into a fight with somebody at the swimming pool and fell into the pool, and he ended up drowning. And nobody noticed it because he was so dirty from working in the mill that the water
just
got
clouded over,
murky and dark and dirty. And plus the lighting back then, they didn't have LEDs back then. So apparently he floated around in the bottom of that pool for quite a while before somebody found him.
Yeah, so he was in 8 feet of water when they found him.
Yeah. So apparently he comes back and haunts the swimming pool area, the locker room. So we got to go in and investigate and go into the locker room in the swimming pool, and we end up, there's a music hall there also.
Very big. I think it seats, 1,100 or something?
1,100 people.
It's really, really old, really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And so that's where we got some flashlight activity there.
We were right on stage, and it said that sometimes you could hear people walking on the wooden floor of the stage or walking the catwalk. The curtains would be moving.
You can see people in the audience whenever there's nobody there.
But we went on the stage and we're asking questions with the Maglite flashlight.
Yeah.
And that's when we started getting a lot of activity going on. It was really cool.
With that, yeah. And then we had a friend of ours who's spirit sensitive. She brought her
pendulum.
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. I could not think of that word. She brought her pendulum, and she was getting some activity with the pendulum. But we got a lot with the flashlight, and we We did Facebook Live too, so that we could.
Yeah, a lot of times when we do investigations, we'll go live on Facebook and bring people along with us. So if something happens, they'll see it when we see it. It's not edited out like you see at a TV shows.
But once again, with the EMF detector, you have to be careful with the phone that it doesn't give you a false positive that the lights are lighting up because of the electronics with the phone. So you have to be careful about that too. So that's what we paired up with them. So that was fun and interesting.
Very nice.
Yes. But yes, we like to go out and meet different people and go different places.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
If there's no more questions from the audience, I really appreciate everything. And again, I've posted in the links, the books. If there's anything else you want to mention about the books, we got a few more minutes here. I posted the Amazon links to both books.
Thank you.
I've also posted your website in there. So if you're looking to get a hold of the Tricks, and you guys operate out of Pennsylvania and Michigan, correct? You still got a team up there.
Yeah, Michigan, but it's mostly all Pennsylvania now.
Yes, and Trick is our real name. I had a nice Italian name.
I didn't ask for it, but I was born with it. So.
Well, I got it 6.5 years ago. Before that, I had a nice Italian last name, and then Trick, and my nickname is Dee Dee. And I said, Dee Dee Trick, I'm going to be Dee Dee Trick. So I have to go by Dee Dee, because Dee Dee Trick sounds like it sounds like
a pole dancer.
That's my stripper name, honey. Hey, I'm Dee Dee.
Oh,
Trick.
and there's Jimmy's Secure video. I can't.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Watch for the next video.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Besides the website, do you guys have a Facebook page?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can just type in. You need to go to Facebook and type in Goosebumps Paranormal Society, and it'll pop right up. That's where we put our videos from our investigations. The website's got a lot of great information on it. Tells about what we do, the equipment we use, the cases we've done, the members. But the Facebook page has got videos from our live Facebook. Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for that question.
Yes.
Great show here from Paul. Yeah.
I'm real slick.
So we're gonna say thank you and good night to Jimmy and Dee.
Mike, you have just been such a wonderful
Thank you so much for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yes, we've really enjoyed this.
Thank you, and we'll get you guys back on with Eric and Kristie, and
that'd be great
about Eric's experience in that house, because I've been following that from the background, and you guys can elaborate on the Bigfoot thing, because I think you guys would be very interested in seeing what goes on in that Chestnut Ridge. It's just a strange place. So
it's weird, spooky, and bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You might say. Thanks, Mike.
So, thank you very much.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you for joining us tonight on Where's My Sage. We'll be back next week with Kristie. We in our Facebook group, we have a list of our upcoming guests, and I of course don't have it in front of me this evening. Please remember that there is a wonderful giveaway we've got going over on our Instagram and our YouTube. So I'm going to put that up there quick. So there's a subscribers giveaway. I've got a little Bigfoot package with some flashlights and binoculars. That's when we hit 500 subscribers on our YouTube channel and our Instagram. 750 subscribers on those things. I'm going to be giving away a side pack with flashlights. So we just talked about that mag light for paranormal. There's one in that kit. There's a nice little stand for an action camera, a multi-tool to fix your gear. And then when we hit 1,000 is one of the custom knives that I make over at X8 Tactical that have been used around the world. So again, thank you for myself and Kristie. We'll be back with us next week. And from all of us at Where's My Sage, thank you and have a great evening.